Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another T3PO Live, or That Place Podcasts Online Live, depending on how you want to consider that right there. We have a great show for you today. I noticed that the pro show is just wrapping up, so hopefully we can get some of y'all in here. Like I always say, the water is warm, folks. Thank you so much for jumping in right here. We have an excellent panel. They haven't all arrived, but I know they'll be arriving shortly, and that's quite all right. But you know who has arrived and who's always timely, I must say? Well, let's go, of course. That's Barry Place 28. Hey, how's it going, Bob? How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. It is wonderful to see you, good sir. As people are starting to file in here, and we're starting to get people from that pro show right there, who, by the way, very thankful that Pro has decided to redirect his viewers our way. I very much appreciate it. I wanted to start out with a story that was a little bit fun, a little bit less serious, but also, too, might be endemic of the modern Walt Disney Company right here. This is crazy. Bob, I really want to get your take on this because I just think it's absolutely insane. So we are going to go to Lamplight Lounge. Lamplight Lounge Brunch, which Lamplight Lounge Brunch is a very particular dining time for this establishment, because I believe it's only available on the weekends, and I believe it's only available from 10 or 11 to 2 or something like that. Is that right, Bob?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
Very limited hours. It's very restrictive. Not many people have even experienced it because of these built-in limitations to this dining establishment and this particular dining service. Now, the food is amazing. I can tell you this right now. The food is great. But this is crazy right here. This is from Liz Chim Chim Churro on Twitter right here. Ordered French toast at Lamplight Lounge. Didn't come with syrup. And we asked, they said it's now $2 extra for syrup. $2 extra for syrup. Ah, this is madness, because they're not giving you a bottle or something. They're not let's go ahead and have the whole the whole keg's worth of syrup on the side here for you. Oh, no. You get like a little thimble-sized thing of syrup right next to you, and that's what you get for $2. What is going Jonas with the $2 right here, syrup money for Vash. I know, right? I know. Definitely need the syrup money, that's for sure. But no, this is crazy right here. Like, this is, by the way, just to give you an idea of how expensive this French toast is. No protein, by the way. It's $21. You can see it right here on this menu right here. And they want to charge you $2 more for this. Come on. What is going on? Bob, take it away. What has happened?
So here's the thing. I'm kind of perplexed by this whole thing because, one, if you look on the menu there, it says maple syrup. So it should come with maple syrup. Now, I understand this is what, this person was being told. I've read some other, comments, and I've read some other, posts where people were saying, oh yeah, I asked for it, told them it was on the menu, I got it. I've never heard of this happening where they're charging extra $2 for something that says it's on the menu. And why I'm perplexed by this is because I know this is over at DCA and this is our sit-down restaurant, but when you go over to Disneyland, they have this new thing called the Waffle Cristo. The Waffle Cristo is amazing. It's a waffle with ham and turkey and cheese inside. And guess what? It comes with a little side of syrup, same side of syrup they serve here at the restaurant. And I always ask for an extra one because you get two of these little waffle Cristos, and the syrup's not enough, just these little tiny things. So I always ask for two. They give them to me. They don't charge me for it, and they've typically never charged for extra condiments like that. So why this happened to this person, I don't know. Now, this is happening on a regular basis to other people. This is awful, but so far this is the only one I've heard so far. And if it is happening to other people, then yeah, this is something that I have a problem with, because they should not be charging an extra $2. But hey, if you go, at least Jonas gave you an extra $2 so you can get your syrup.
That's true. That's true. I want to go ahead and introduce another panelist right here. I didn't hear him come in, so I very much want to apologize. Actually, we have two right here. Please welcome to the amazing chat right here, Theme Park Casual. Casual, it is great to see you, good sir. And, of course, one of my new favorite members of That Park Place team right here, we have Marvin the Movie Monster. Marvin, what is going on, good sir? Thank you so much for coming to talk about syrup and French toast. Now, we're going to be talking about bigger topics for sure. This is just something to kind of think of this as kind of an appetizer for the main course, right?
Syrup and French toast are two of my favorite subjects, so...
Oh, good. Well, perfect. That's fantastic. Casual. You've had experience with this restaurant, very unique experience with this restaurant. We saw the reduction of certain favorites from this restaurant, and now we're charging $2 for syrup for the French toast. What is going on here?
Wait, they're charging you for the syrup now?
Yes. Well, apparently that's what Chim Churro went through.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things. It feels like it was a management decision. Kind of, hey, let's go ahead and charge for it because it's a commodity. We got to charge, and as soon as it hits the actual customers, I think it's going to get rolled back. I can't imagine them holding on to a policy like that of charging for syrup when you're ordering French toast. I could understand, hey, I need, 17,000 little cups of syrup for my French toast. That's one thing. But if you're asking, hey, can I get a little bit of extra? They're going to feel it real quick, because this is going to, this is the kind of thing you go home and you tell your relatives, you tell your friends, oh, it was a great trip. We did this, but don't get the French toast because they're going to charge you extra for the syrup. So I'm hoping that it was just an oversight that, a overzealous manager got a hold of this and said, hey, let's charge for it.
I hope so too. I mean, Marvin, if you didn't hear the intro right there, I'll relay it to you. $21 for the indulgent French toast, which is very good, by the way. And Chim Churro was reporting that they were charging an extra $2 for syrup that, as Barry Place pointed out, actually should be included. It's not actually on the menu right here, but didn't include it. McDonald's doesn't even charge for syrup half the time. And they're all about emptying your wallet.
You go to IHOP and you got 12 syrups on the table that you could just pour all over your pancakes. Like, how much could this actually cost as far as operational costs go to have syrup on your pancakes? And who wants pancakes or French toast without syrup?
Even if it's like the super A grade maple syrup, that's smuggled in through the hooves of moose as they cross the border. I don't know. You can't charge $2 for a little cup of syrup.
Like, are you taking this in the back, driving it to Canada, and pouring it on my waffles straight from the tap from a tree?
Yeah, an actual Mountie has to be pouring it on for that.
Oh, hey, glad you can make it, eh? Yeah, $2, and we'll fix you right up there, eh?
It's absolutely insane. This is why I didn't want to let the story go, because it is crazy. It's these little things that add up and create.
And I do believe it was clarified that the first cup does come with it. That it does come with 1 cup of syrup, but if you want extra, it is $2.
I see. Okay.
So it's not that there's no syrup; it's that if you would like extra.
No,
so,
but is it some kind of like
that's still not any. Yeah, it doesn't get much better, but still.
When I stayed at Coronado Springs in Walt Disney World recently, I've got some of the syrups here in my house right now that my wife just grabbed from the table. Like, is this different syrup than the ones that come in the little packets that you could just take?
Well, I mean, from what I understand, it's been injected into the hooves of I don't know, a moose, and smuggled in across the border. So I don't know, but you make a great point, Marvin. It was very interesting to me going to Walt Disney World for the first time, and going to the Poly and seeing Captain Cook's there, right? Because they have the spread when it comes to like condiments, like little things of peanut butter and stuff. It's like, whoa! It's like, wait a minute now. That's pretty expensive, but we couldn't provide French toast. I'm sorry, syrup for the indulgent.
And they've got the Tonga toast there at Captain Cook's.
They do,
and but that one I will say, the only French toast I've ever had in my life where I'm like, you know what, no syrup needed. I could pass on the $2 syrup for that. But like, what is this going to be like? If you're like, can I get a little nutmeg? Like, oh no, sir, you can't afford that.
It is absolutely wild.
If you want some powdered sugar, then you're gonna have to take out a lien on your house.
Yeah, go and shogi for $2. By the way, I'm going to bring this up just because it's relevant. Just pray you don't need more butter for $2 right there. Go and shogi. Thank you so much. That's the thing, right? I mean, that's where we're getting to. And then $10 from Jonas at That Park Place. Thank you so much. Great job, guys. Well, great job to you, good sir. I know you've been putting in the long hours and so forth, dealing with the hectic schedule of our lives. Thank you so much for being a Patriot over there in That Park Place. This is kind of I'm starting out a little bit negative, but the theme park game is a very interesting one right now. I kind of want to take it over to more of your neck of the woods, Bob and Casual, because, well, not only are you here, but I think it's a very interesting story, and I really want to hear your guys' take on it, because we talked about it before, but I don't know, opinions change. So here we go. Cedar Fair and Six Flags have officially merged. So the DOJ has approved the merger of Cedar Fair and Six Flags. This is via Boardwalk Times right here. The transaction is expected to close on July 1st. Well, if you check your calendar, guys, it's July 2nd right now. So that entity has officially been created. Six Flags Entertainment Corporation is now the name of the combined company. Here's their logo, and I guess it's great. We'll get into it in just a second. Let me go ahead and read a little bit right here, and I'm going to pass off to you guys immediately thereafter. Six Flags and Cedar Fair complete merger in $8 billion deal, creating amusement park giant that includes Knott's and Magic Mountain. And this is by Denise Petsky and Tom Tapp over there at Deadline. The long-expected merger of theme park operators Cedar Fair and Six Flags is officially closed, creating what Six Flags called today the largest and most diverse amusement park operator in North America. Newly combined behemoth, I don't know I've heard it called both ways. I'm going to go with Behemoth right now. Will operate under the Six Flags name and appropriately trade under the ticker symbol FUN. The new Six Flags boasts an impressive portfolio of 42 parks stretching across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, including Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California. It goes on to note that Richard Zimmerman, the former president of and CEO of Cedar Fair, will now be the president and CEO of the new company. And Salim Boussoul, which he's very, very controversial in the amusement park or even the coaster enthusiasts realm of the community. Well, he's going to be the executive chairman of the board of directors for this new company. So he's still going to be involved, but in a different role than what he had served when he was at Six Flags right there as the former CEO. So you can see the map right here, 42 parks. Guys, what do you think about this? DOJ approved it. I was thinking, whoa, that might be controversial, but go ahead.
I grew up going to Six Flags in Jersey, in Great Adventure in Jackson. The last time I was there was a couple of years ago. I would say it needs quite a bit of work. It needs quite a bit of TLC. It needs quite a bit of infusion of cash. This could be the answer to that, or it could just be two struggling companies combining to create one struggling company and pulling themselves underwater with it. I'm not holding my breath on this, but I think it could be something good if it's managed correctly.
And I think Marvin brings up an interesting point right here, because I think the theme park community has been very critical of Six Flags and Six Flags' operation, especially some of the decisions that Salim Boussoul had made in the last, I want to say 4 years or so. Their premiumization project, taking a page out of JPEG was an interesting idea, and charging more, reducing value, reducing perks that came with annual pass holders, saying that we want a less Walmart-oriented clientele. Yes, exactly. Salim Boussoul did say that on an earnings call at one point. Casual, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? And we love Cedar Fair theme parks. We love Knott's, but Six Flags, we have to believe that influences. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with Marvin that depending on how it's managed is going to be, where it goes. Cedar Fair is somewhat, I don't want to say beloved in the theme park industry, because I don't know if people have that kind of connection to them, but they are respected. I will say that the way they handled Knott's in Southern California to pull it. And this is, I believe it was Matt we met who was helming the Cedar Fair parks at the time, but they took Knott's out of that roller coaster game and brought them back into being a theme park. And so if they can get that sort of feel back into the Six Flags parks, I think there's a good chance that this company could end up flourishing if they play on the strengths of what the Cedar Fair parks were doing and pull the Six Flags parks up to that level. I think it could be really good. Not to say that, and I'm seeing Theme Park Wizard in the chat there. Knott's has its problems, and I think that's one of the issues that. Hopefully, as a company this large now, hopefully they can address it. They need someone in there to change culture, to bring the culture up to a level where employees and management take pride in every little aspect of the park, and that'll trickle down to operations. In which case, then you've got absolute incredible potential with this company, but. That's all left to be seen.
It's in the execution. Bob, do you disagree?
No, I kind of agree with both of them. And the thing is that, like Danny said, Cedar Fair has done a great job of coming in and taking over, Knott's Berry Farm here in California. I feel like they've been doing a pretty good job in their parks as well. I feel like their CEO, kind of has his finger on the pulse as to how to operate and run the company. To be honest with you, when I first heard about this last year, I was really, really nervous. I'm like, okay, is it going to be in, because they hadn't said right away, is it going to be Six Flags or is it going to be, Knott's or Cedar Fair? And then Knott's Berry Farm here is a staple. It's the first, America's first theme park. And so I'm like, is this going to be called Six Flags, Knott's Berry Farm? I hope not, but God. Yeah, I know, right? But it doesn't look like it's going to be named that. The thing is that I was really nervous because Celine, who's the previous CEO, was a horrible CEO. He didn't do anything to help the company out. In fact, the previous CEO was doing just fine. He was unfortunately, replaced by this Celine guy who just, ran the company into the ground. He didn't know what to do. And to be honest with you, I had to pass at Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. It was great. I enjoyed going. Brought back a lot of memories. I hadn't been in the park in many, many years. But as we started going all the time, a lot of roller coasters were shut down. The park was getting dilapidated. Certain places where the wood is just falling apart, paint's falling apart. It was like, wow, this place really needs some tender loving care. And the fact is, Six Flags Magic Mountain is Six Flags' biggest theme park that they actually own. And so I was really disappointed to see that. I eventually just let my pass go and decided not to renew it. Now I'm interested to see what's going to happen because like some of the people have mentioned in the chat here, Cedar Fair is taking over. So I have high hopes that they'll be able to turn things around at the Six Flags parks more than their parks. And again, like Theme Park Wizard mentioned in the chat, Knott still has some issues. All the theme parks have some issues, right? And Camp Snoopy, which we'll probably talk about here in a moment, did not have a very smooth, grand reopening last week. But I believe Is This Live in the chat was also gave you a little super chat there for Canadian $5. Also said, does the panel think that any of the parks will close because of the mergers and which one? And I believe Kit Kat was also saying, yeah, there's supposed to be one in Northern California. Yeah, Great America is going to be closing within the next, I think 9 years now. So we will be seeing that one close. Do we think any other parks going to close? I think we may see a handful of parks close because they do have so many and they may reevaluate, especially with some of the ones that aren't doing well for Six Flags. So I think that's always a possibility. We're going to see some close in the merger. Never like seeing that, obviously, because it affects, where people live and the entertainment they have and jobs and whatnot. But unfortunately, that usually comes with the territory when parks merger. But overall, I'm happy to see that Cedar Fair organization is actually going to be running the new Six Flags entertainment parks.
Yeah, I am hoping that Cedar Fair will take the lead on this and show Six Flags a thing or two of how to run their parks. There are questions though that need to be answered. I believe Kit Kat in the chat also said that Cedar Fair has to improve on their load and unload times. I don't necessarily disagree, but they have a standard that they follow. I believe it's like the Amusement Consortium standard. Anyway, it's a training standard that they use for load and unload for their cast members, team members, employees to follow. And Six Flags doesn't actually have that. And there are certain standards and regulations that they that affect not only the training involved, but also the ride vehicles and so forth. So seatbelts have to be added to certain attractions and all that. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who wins the day when it comes to the operational day-to-day for these parks. What the maintenance for these parks, the mindset when it comes to value. Because remember, Salim Basul was very much like, well, we want to get rid of the food programs, we want to get rid of this and that and the other thing in order to up the clientele, which is where Cedar Fair took the opposite approach, and they still have a lot of their food programs. They still have a lot of their annual pass holder benefits and so forth that Six Flags has stripped away. So going to be really interesting to see how these titans deal with this. Let's go ahead and get to some super chats real fast right here because man, they came in hot and heavy. I really do appreciate the support, guys, but we'll get right back to it. There's some really big news that has taken place today on the theme park front, so we'll get right back at it. But Is This Live right here for $5 Canadian? Well, maple syrup is just so expensive. The serving must call them at least 25 cents. Yeah, It must cost them 25 cents. Yeah, it's so much is this live. It's crazy how much they're charging for some of this stuff and what amenities they've taken away. Yeah. By the way, is this live?
Are we blind? Deploy the garrison!
Deploy the likes, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do that right now. Also, too, is this live for another $5 Canadian, as was referenced before. Thank you so much for that question, because I kind of wanted to ask the panel that as well. What theme parks do you think might be closing because of this? Because some of them are within very close proximity. We'll get back to the answer in just a moment. Kevin Reinhardt with $2. It's like the Golga Lake debacle on a micro level. Yeah, I know. So if you don't know what he's referring to right now, Six Flags, I believe, bought the nearby SeaWorld property in Ohio, if I want to say, and they created one of the biggest theme parks that the world had ever seen. I believe it was 700 acres at that time. It was massive, this massive property, and it ended up failing. So it's, size can be a deficit sometimes. That is for sure. Rad Jedi with $20. Thank you so much to you and to everybody who was donating. Thank you so much there. Sounds like the Cedar Fair people will be in control. Praying hands, yeah, we're all praying for that outcome. That is for sure. But guys, before we leave this topic right here, do you believe that any of these would be closed, or do you think they can keep or maintain their distinct identities even if they're within proximity of each other?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say I haven't seen the individual park balance sheets to find out which ones are struggling, which ones are doing okay, and whatnot. But you got to figure if you're looking to close any parks, whatever attractions are there can get distributed among the remaining portfolio. So if you've got parks that are underperforming and within proximity, it could make financial sense to close one park and divvy up attractions and improve other parks at the same time.
Yeah, that's an interesting. It's an interesting case, because we've seen that before, where a park will close up and they'll reuse the assets in other places. That's going to be very interesting to see if they end up doing that. Also, too, I think Six Flags has a bunch of debt that they're carrying with them. I want to say it's like $2.5 billion or something from some really bad investments made in years prior. That's going to be an interesting thing, too, to see what the cash flow situation is going to look like for them, because I know that that they were thinking about maybe selling the land out from underneath their theme parks, and then having it leased back in a similar operation that Red Lobster actually went through. And well, we know how that turned out. So, Marvin, you were going to say?
No, I think that if they were going to close any of these parks quickly, they would have done it before the merger went through. Because especially if you're now a publicly traded company, closing a park is going to tank your stock price. So, I think that they would have liquidated those assets before the merger even happened. So I don't think they're planning on closing anything down right away. At least not right away.
I would hope so. Let's get the word of one more panelist right here. One of my favorite people of all time right here. It's always a treat when he joins us, because I know his time is very precious. Here you go. Marty Snider, what is going on there, good sir?
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming on in and joining us.
Good morning, afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Marty.
Hey, what's up, casual? Hey, Bob. How you guys doing?
Hey,
yeah,
you?
Doing well, man.
Very
just open the pool for the summer, man. I was just in Dre's neck of the woods in the Grand Canyon. And it was a lot cooler up there last week. I got back home and it was 100 degrees. I was like, man, pool's got to be opened.
Let me see the temperature of Phoenix right now, because
yeah, that's a big difference, dude. I'm telling you, that
107 right now.
We were 85 as a high in the Grand Canyon like 5 days ago.
Oh man, it's getting hot, boys. It's getting hot. It is getting hot and heavy. That is absolutely for sure right here. And speaking of,
I've been listening. Syrup
yes?
now costs a whole lot of money. Okay, just as much as gas, apparently. And Knott's, I was watching some of the stuff on Knott's. I'm excited to get there and see some of the stuff for myself with Camp Snoopy reopening. We got the perks to bring some family friends, but man, the roller coaster, apparently, if you're 5'10", you get to the front of the line and you're told that you can't ride it. Like, so I'm a little worried about that. My wife will be able to take my son on and stuff like that. But so I've been paying attention, and now we're talking about Six Flags, the whole merger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Is anybody optimistic about that? I mean, Marty, we all relayed our comments right here. Marty, you optimistic about the merger?
I mean, look, if it means things survive, that's good, but competition's better. So like, I would rather a merger than lose something, but this isn't ideal by any stretch. It's also funny, a lot of people somebody on the panel talked about the name change, and I thought it was ironic because Disney put a higher bid in than Cedar for Knott's, and the Knott's family declined that offer because they were going to turn into an Americana themed park, but they were going to remove the Knott's brand from it, and that's why the family took less money and sold it to Cedar Fair.
Yeah, Disney was going to, if you've ever heard of Disney's America, which was Disney's failed park that they attempted to build in Virginia, of all different places, just outside of Washington, D.C. They didn't want those plans to go away, so they were looking to purchase Knott's Berry Farm, which a lot of people hadn't already considered the unofficial second gate of Disneyland. But that didn't happen. Would have had a monorail go all the way from Disneyland over to Knott's Berry Farm, which is insane to think about nowadays because the proximity not very close between those two locations. But they eventually did use a lot of that Disney's America idea, and they incorporated it into Disney's California Adventure. So, well, there you go.
I feel like we all know what Disney's America looks like, and it's not anything.
Yeah, this is a wonderful transition, actually, to the next topic that I wanted to point to because, it is July 4th in 2 days right here. And, we should start seeing bunting on Main Street, shouldn't we, fellas? We should see it at least at Disneyland. And unfortunately, we aren't seeing that right now. We haven't seen it for not one, but the last 2 years at Disneyland. People will note that in 2023, the famous, 100th anniversary was taking place at Disneyland, and they were using the facades and everything, the bunting for that specific occasion right here, which is fine. Okay, I get it. Understood. It was a year-long celebration, and it was marking the 100th anniversary of the company. I can kind of see it. I get it. I get that as well. But if you look right here, and this is actually provided by Berry Place 28. Actually, this is your live stream from 10 days ago. Thank you so much for this, Bob. I know. Thank you for letting me play this. He did not let me play this, but I want to just play this a little bit right here and just show you guys that it is almost July 4th, and yet we don't have any patriotic bunting up and down Main Street right here. We have also heard that at Walt Disney World, they have reduced some of their initially planned 4th of July celebrations, essentially at Epcot and Magic Kingdom. And it's very, very weird why to think Disney kind of backing away from this, especially at a place like Disneyland, because, well, if we look right here, in Walt's opening day speech, he actually makes reference to America specifically. He says, Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America. and with the hope that it'll be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. So, and you can actually see in his speech, some of that 4th of July bunting, because this was actually July 17th when this park was launched in 55.
There was no bigger American patriot than Walt Disney. I mean, the fact that they're now shying away from American patriotism in the parks is insane. Like I can't even, like, he wouldn't even roll over in his grave for that one. He'd kick out of it and do a flip and go back in. It's like, it's beyond me. Like, how many rainbow flags were there in the parks over the last month? I bet you a lot. And you know, it's and where does it end? Do we stop doing the flag retrieval at Walt Disney World now? Do we stop honoring soldiers in Walt Disney? Like, what is happening?
Well, I could go deeper into that thought process but I'll stay very sensitive on it with the flag retrieval. The removal of Gunny, Ernie, and his situation was that a year and a half ago, Dre, or something. And I mean, it was a
famous cast member who would participate,
served our country to the highest level, and always did it. And you can continue with that.
He was a famous cast member, a veteran, and you could tell that he had a little bit of that training still left in him. That's for sure, because he would handle the flag retreat ceremony every single day at Disneyland with such professionalism, such dedication,
super respected.
Oh yes, absolutely,
and loved.
And he I believe his situation, Marty, maybe you could correct me on this, but it was related to maybe a certain medical procedure that he didn't necessarily want to engage in.
Well, there was some of that, and then I think there was a backstage thing where there were cast members or security members that didn't like the level of respect that certain other security members got versus other ones. There was like a struggle of authority and what was given to somebody who, I'm pretty sure Gunny's name is Ernie, but I mean, he's not wrestling somebody down, and nor should any security member, sure, for that matter. But he may not have been doing a lot of the other chores or whatever that were applied to the other security members, and there was probably some resentment on that, and there was some backlash and stuff. And I mean, beloved, like he was the Mickey Mouse of the flag retreat.
I have heard some stories in which some long timers, some very respected and so they have experience in security officers that have earned their keep, essentially, be kind of forced out or forced to roles that aren't befitting of their skill level.
A Tiki Room member that was removed for the same type of things.
That's a very interesting thing there for sure. Casual, what's the idea here? What is going on? Why not the bunting second year in a row?
I don't know. Honestly, it's probably just absolute laziness, and it's cost cutting. Why put it up? You don't need it. There could be any number of reasons. I point to that one as being probably the most obvious. It's like, don't spend the money to send the crew out to put it up, and then in a couple of weeks you got to send the crew back out to pull it down. It's sad that we're at that state, but if we're charging for an extra cup of syrup, it wouldn't surprise me if that's simply the thing. It's just, don't bother wasting the time with it.
So look, I make it a rule in my YouTube persona and everything that I don't ever get political. I will say, without trying to get overly political yet, People see American flags now as a political tool instead of a symbol of a country. I have a friend who literally said to me one time when they moved to a new area, "Oh, I have to drive through the neighborhood to see which houses have American flags out because that's how I'll know who the Republicans are." I think that now you're starting to see the people that Disney caters to don't want to see American flags, and they're bending to that, and it's sad. It's sad to see because Disney parks are like those first two parks. They're supposed to be as Americana as there's an entire land of Walt Disney World dedicated to the birth of the United States. The entirety of Walt Disney World tells the story of the birth of America, starting in Fantasyland with Old World Europe, and then crossing over into, Liberty Square and the frontier, and it's ingrained into it. It's the lifeblood of Disney parks, and I can't believe that we're getting to the point where we're removing that element.
For sure, I talked to some people today about how you can take the monorail, and you can take the monorail from downtown Disney and take it straight into Tomorrowland. But my favorite part is always walking down Main Street. And personally, politics aside, I always enjoy and it's closed right now, but like just the tales of Mr. Lincoln. And, there's a history that goes down Main Street. Yeah. There's just a history, and it doesn't have to be a political history. It's just a history of what's happened since 55, even like as you go down, but they tell you, God forbid, like, I know it's not, I know it's not politically correct, I guess, in some senses, but God forbid they get, they get rid of, I don't even know what his name is supposed to be, but the Scar Native American that's posted right there, and we got a couple over in Adventureland too, and I'm like, Kimberly, yeah, I heard it called a bunch of different names, but yeah, I mean to me that's on the chopping block.
I am surprised every single time I see Kimberly that he is still there because
he's literally a meeting, and he's literally a meeting post. Like, it's like, hey, meet me there. And like when you're talking to other people who haven't been to the park and you want to meet them up front and you're trying to find a place, and you tell them, Kimberly, meet me at Kimberly. And and that's your meeting post. And
trying to find a photo for you guys. Sorry about that.
But a lot of these tobacco cigar Indian posts have been being removed from multiple places, and I'm kind of surprised that they've actually stayed true to this. I'm not encouraged that it's going to stay around much longer. The way
now with this,
they keep.
Wait, that's still there, because I'm pretty sure the one in Walt Disney World's gone.
I believe this.
Oh, really?
I thought the Frontierland one is also still there.
Yeah, the one in Walt Disney World's been gone for a while, I think.
Yeah, we got both still, Dre. Yeah, I think I saw the other one just the other day. Yeah.
Wow, that is quite surprising. Bob, your take on this? Oh, you can actually see that bunching right there on the arcade. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Look, I'm kind of like casual. I think it's a little bit of laziness. Yeah, it could be anything, right? But they've always been very patriotic, especially when it came close to the 4th of July. And I always enjoy seeing the American flag bunting up on the poles, as well as on the shops and all the way down Main Street. I understand we had the 100 celebration. They didn't maybe want to take it down for that because all the fanfare was up, and now we're doing Pixar Fest, which, you know, when you show my video, you can see it's got, I think it's kind of interesting. It's got kind of like the colors of Pixar, but also the kind of like the rainbow colors there. And maybe there's double meaning for that. But basically, I think that, you know, they're not taking the time to take these down. I mean, how hard is it? Literally, these flags, by the way, I think there's, if you go all the way down Main Street from the circle down to the other circle, you've got about 6 of these on each side of the street. How hard it would be to even just change the lamp lights and put the fanfare on there. You know, if they don't want to put up the bunting up on the windows on the street because it takes so long, I get that part. But how hard would it be to take down these and replace those that you see in the video here? It shouldn't take that long. And look what they do for Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that. And granted, you know, they're up for, you know, a month, or for Halloween even longer, but you've got, you know, they do things overnight, you know, with putting up the Christmas tree and stuff.
Why not start putting the bunting out around Memorial Day and leave it up for a month? Like, what's the harm in that? You know, like Memorial Day to 4th of July. Like, instead of doing away with it, why not do it for longer?
I agree.
They would. Be so this my chat update right here was May 30th, 2022. So they've historically gone pretty long with some of the bunting in order to take advantage of the, you know, cost of actually putting it up right here. I know people are saying, well, it could be laziness, and look, I don't necessarily disagree with that. You know, we've seen these budgets be reduced at the parks for a little while now. I get it. I hate to bring it up because I don't want to get controversial, but you know, they did spend money on. They did spend money on representation of other groups.
I told you.
And other initiatives in the parks, like whole murals that they have to paint later. But we couldn't put up, bunting this year.
We do have Ty Zima in the chat saying bunting is up in Magic Kingdom.
Good.
So, right. That's and we need to just kind of remember that these are two different entities sometimes, you know, and different mindsets, different management styles sometimes. But yeah, it's
my experience in the last 48 hours or I don't know, 48, 78 hours of Oogie Boogie purchases versus Disney, Walt Disney World Christmas tickets were completely separate. Like, so very different. But I mean, we did take a lot of time to put up very special flags and bunting that had the wrong dates for attractions. True. Yeah, you know, so I mean, you know, and they did replace those like a couple weeks later after fans were able to like correct them on their history.
Right.
Maybe by the time this was actually put up. Oh yeah, no, yeah. There you go. Matterhorn Bobsled's next to 5. 59, guys. Come on.
It was opening day, Dre. It was opening day. I wrote it.
Yeah. The first e-ticket for the park opening day. Okay. Well, I don't know about all that. It's quite something. Well, even there, right? Disney is losing track of their history just a bit, and I would like. I mean,
they misquoted Walt and other people on plaques. You know,
well, I mean, on merch as well. Remember
that T-shirt?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well,
and the hard facts,
and for sure, I think I got a request, by the way, from the theme park wizard for $2. Thank you so much. Can I join the stream, please? Yes, you absolutely can. I sent you the stream link on Twitter. I didn't know you were available, good sir. You are always invited, though. But I know
Wizard's the best
at this time. He's the best. And I really want to get his take on some of the Universal stuff because we're gonna get right into that. Right out of here. Let's go ahead and take some of the chats here because man, oh man, you guys are unbelievably generous today. Thank you so much. Lester San Jose, the Skeptic Tank for $5. My younger sis Jones me into a possible purchase of a Six Flags pass with the merger, hoping Magic Mountain will get a facelift. SeaWorld over Disney. Well, that's a very interesting take on there. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that. However, people are hoping for a ultimate combined pass of some kind. I'm not sure if that's coming at all. It has been heavily speculated and rumored that it might. We'll have to see on that for sure. But thank you so much for the $5 right there. And Rad Jedi for another $20. Thank you so much. What happens to SeaWorld parks? Does Six Flags buy them?
Not a chance.
Six Flags, interestingly enough, made a bid for Cedar Fair at one point. And Cedar Fair staved them off because I believe Cedar Fair and Six Flags have been talking about this merger for quite some time. That's the ultimate direction that they wanted to go. But Six Flags
and Busch Gardens?
Yep. And
Sesame Place.
I don't think anybody's buying SeaWorld until those orcas have aged out. It's just I just think it's I just think it's
that's a fair
the
point.
the blackfish thing is just too much of a thing.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's like
you destroyed that entire company.
You don't want to buy into orcas right now.
Also, can I just say, people like to put their nose up at SeaWorld all the time or discount SeaWorld. SeaWorld is awesome. And
great.
when you go to SeaWorld, here's the thing. Disney, even Universal to an extent, they don't have to work very hard to get you money. They know people are coming there every year, no matter what. SeaWorld tries so hard to get every dollar that it gets, and it shows. Their food festivals at SeaWorld Orlando are fantastic. The attractions are top-notch. They've got a pass-holder lounge that's like, there's free like soft drinks in there, and you know, it's fully air-conditioned. It's all year round. I cannot say enough positive things about SeaWorld.
And I don't care what anybody says when it comes to bringing awareness to sea life and environmental causes surrounding that. SeaWorld is the king.
Hey, I'll share a personal story. My dad was PR for the Coast Guard for a period, and I was on the ship. There was a gray whale that got stuck on the California coast. JJ the whale. He's pretty famous if you Google him. And SeaWorld took him in. I was on the ship that released him. I was like 19 years old. And my dad got me on the ship, and I was on the ship with all the media they took this gray whale calf in. Had no chance of living, and they revived him. There's no chance they could have kept him because he's a gray whale, so he was going to be way too big for anything they have. And we went on the ship, and I watched SeaWorld transport him on the 5 freeway to the ocean. And we and they released them. It was an awesome experience. And from that point on, I knew SeaWorld they have a purpose for sure.
Look, did the SeaWorld company do a lot of really shady things in like the early 80s and whatnot? Absolutely. But you know who's still there in SeaWorld currently today that was there back then? Not a single person. All right,
that's what I mean. It's like from my from my age group, SeaWorld probably had every young girl in Southern California at one point want to become a marine biologist. Mm-hmm. You know, it was the thing. There's something about it, and they know how to tap into that. And like I said, I don't think anybody has done more for the cause for protecting sea life and the seas themselves as SeaWorld.
And it's the ship of Theseus at this point. It's, every piece of it has been completely replaced, so it's really not the same entity anymore. You have all these whales that were raised in captivity and they cannot be released, so they're still caring for them. And SeaWorld does, as you said, a lot of good for a lot of animals out there. It's kind of a Mr. Beast situation where people like try to attack Mr. Beast, like, oh, he's just building houses for the needy and building wells in Africa for attention. I'm like, I don't care what he's doing it for. At the end of the day, needy people are getting homes, and people who are dying of thirst are getting water. Like, the ends justify the means at that point.
Right. Well, and I will say, I have I'm a platinum pass holder for SeaWorld, and it's great because I've been able to go to Orlando and Busch Gardens and SeaWorld San Diego is where I mostly go since I live in California. And granted, I got to tell you, I'm kind of jealous about Orlando because they constantly have, like every single year they got a new roller coaster they're rolling out, and I'm like, oh, I want to go to that park and check it out. They definitely have some top of line, roller coasters and entertainment there at the parks. I have a sweet spot, obviously, for SeaWorld because I grew up in California and I like that, but we have rules and regulations in California where we can't have these super, mega, coasters like they can in Florida, but they're doing a good job. And I think they're trying to do their best to, still raise awareness, rescue animals. And at the same time, they're operating a really good theme park and they're doing a good job. I mean, are they on par when it comes to, some of the other things like, their haunts, Hollow Scream? Sure. Florida's not too bad. San Diego needs a little improvement, but they're trying and they're doing their best to, entertain people and have a good theme park. And that's what I really appreciate about SeaWorld. So I think that they're going to continue to do well and improve. And I look forward to seeing what they're going to, be rolling out over the next several years.
Also, too, they are owned by United Parks and Resorts. So that's the parent company of this. Also, the Busch Garden division is under them as well. So, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg and everything, part of that.
Little last point. I kind of wonder, like San Diego is different than Orlando with things like, all these parks, but SeaWorld in particular. Everybody wants to talk about like, oh man, Universal's gonna take a hit. They're gonna cannibalize themselves with Epic, with the Epic Park and stuff, and they'll take a hit on their other parks. I kind of wonder how much like SeaWorld is gonna take on that, as opposed to maybe Universal doesn't take much of a hit on their other parks. Maybe it's somebody like Universal that gets cannibalized, or SeaWorld that gets cannibalized on something like this. I plan on going in November, and I did not have a SeaWorld trip planned, but if I did, it would be canceled out. It wouldn't be Disney that I was necessarily canceling out, although I may have canceled out a Disney date or two. If I'm going in November right now, I would have killed a Disney day to go to Epic if it was open. But once Epic is open, I wonder how much like SeaWorld's going to get hit.
Well, you know who could speak to this a little bit? Well, it's the one, it's the only. Here we go. Theme Park Wizard.
It's me,
Wizard. What's up?
Hey, how's it going,
I made it. I made it.
You made it to T3PO Live. What is going on, good sir?
Fantastic. I'm doing amazing.
Oh, audio's a little scratchy.
Shoot. Hold up.
Okay. Well, we'll here,
little scratchy.
I'll mute you just a little bit right there. That way you can. Oh, how we doing? We doing better?
Amazing.
I think it's passable. Anyway, we got to get to some great news here for the people at home. Oh, thank you so much, Pamela Empson, for enjoying the stream. We enjoy putting it on for you. That is for sure. But with the incredible theme park wizard here, we got to get into the story. This is a big one right here. The theme park wars are in full effect right here. And we know about Epic. Epic is going to be absolutely massive. It's going to be huge. But don't sleep on the UK right here, because Universal certainly isn't. They put this out right here. Expert analysis indicates Universal Theme Park and Resort could have transformative impact, generating nearly 50 billion euros of economic benefit for the United Kingdom. Universal Destinations and Experiences commissioned an economic impact analysis that demonstrates the unique value creation opportunity a world-class theme park and resort could bring to the United Kingdom, helping to unlock economic potential and boost growth, create thousands of high-quality jobs, and generate billions in tax revenue for the country. You can see some of those statistics that they have right here. 20,000 new jobs, construction jobs during the period, 5,000 workers on site, 8,000 new jobs permanently, at least until expansions, of course, $14 billion in net additional tax returns for the HM Treasury, forecast to be $35.1 billion over the construction period and the first 20 years of operation. Wizard. This is absolute. Okay, as soon as I call him out, he leaves. Come on now, Wizard. This is your segment right here. Wizard. This is huge. This is absolutely a big deal. Will change the dynamic, especially in the European sector of the theme park market. What do you have to say about all this?
Very cool stuff. This was very good stuff, and will directly impact Disneyland Paris as just a quick train ride away, and it'll be closer. Like for me, it's closer to fly to London than Paris. So when it opens in 2030, it'll be.
Hang on, Wizard. Hang on. Because I respect and want you to preserve everything that you say, you gotta get some of that mic issues adjusted. Because man, you're scratchy. You're scratchy, and we can't unfortunately understand you. Yeah, I know.
That sounds
sucks. Because
hold on.
Okay.
While he's fixing that, Vash, I gotta bow out.
You got it. No problem at all. Good sir. Please.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I couldn't.
We'll tell
longer.
the good people where they can find you, Marvin, before heading on out.
Of course, Tooneytown TV. We just posted up a brand new review of the Acolytes, episode 4 and 5, and we're gonna be, going live tonight on Tooneytown Wrestling for Toonie Talk Wrestling. We're going to be talking about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up. We're going to be doing our own tournament of the best Money in the Bank winners of all time. So come join us for that. We've also got Toonie Talk TV tomorrow night live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come on down. We're always looking for more of you.
Tooneytown TV, just put that in the chat right there if you guys want to go ahead and give that a subscribe. Absolutely worth it for sure, because this guy creates some amazing content. If you think he's funny on stream, the produced stuff is absolutely killer. Thank you so much, Marvin, for joining me. Couldn't have done this without you. Thank you.
Thank you, and nice to meet all you guys. Thank you so much. And Barry, good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Marvin.
Thank you. Alrighty. This is I will say the Universal stuff, I think has me probably the most excited in terms of theme park stuff that is on the horizon here, because it's so cool. Wizard, do we have you back? Oh,
Testing.
Hold on. Well, okay. Well, let's try. But if I see the viewership go to 0, Wizard, I'm gonna have to kick you out. I'm joking. Sorry.
We get audio and no visual. Visual with scratchy audio. Like,
dang it. Wizard's commentary, guys, is so good. Go ahead, Wizard. And now.
No.
Now we have no audio.
Hold on. I'm on mute, but I'm still trying to play with the settings.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
hey, that was pretty good. That was okay.
This was good. Okay, good.
Well, kind of.
No, I didn't touch it.
Yeah, well, it's usable. Let's see how good it is. Let's see. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I was saying was this is gonna be a great direct and indirect hit to Disneyland Paris because it's a quick train ride. Oh no!
Hold on, Wizard. I'm so sorry. He's been anticipating a stream. It's coming on here for so long. I feel so bad for the guy. I'm telling you, folks. This is the Universal guy.
Yeah, this is the guy we need to listen to.
I know that the contributions to that park place, and even some of our own channels as well. Casual, yours, Bob, yours, and Marty, your amazing commentary.
His Patron is awesome. Our Patreon is awesome, and Wizards on top of everything Universal.
Everything Universal, and even Disney as well. His Patreon, he covers a lot of the permitting processes attached to Disneyland Resort and Universal Studios Hollywood. Half of what we know, folks, on the Universal front is because of this guy right here in the bottom of your screen. So go ahead, Wizard. Let's try it again.
Out now.
Sounds pretty good now.
Keep going.
It's the second, third sentence. That's what gets us.
Talk gently.
Okay, so Disneyland Paris
Okay.
might take a big hit from this part because of its somewhat close proximity via train. We're good? Okay, good. We're good. And
Keep speaking
this
softly.
part, which should open in 2030, is
that's great.
gonna
Yeah.
be a much closer flight for people like me and everyone on this panel versus Paris. And also I think it helps at least the US people that the London people speak English, which is French.
It's true.
Language barriers doesn't get talked about much, but it definitely helps when you go to an English speaking country versus versus Paris. Sorry, the comments were distracting me, but I think this part is fantastic.
Yeah, it comes in and out, which is really something. Jonas, thank you so much right here. Panel is amazing. Glad to see you all in here. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's crazy, right? Come on, Jonas, come in the fun. You got the link. You have access.
Yeah, Jonas should be here.
Jonas should be here because man, oh man, it's a good stuff. Wizard, try plugging your mic in and out and seeing if that resolves it, or using a different USB on your computer. Let's see if that can do it. But Wizard is right. You're gonna have a train come from, I believe, downtown London to this kind of Bedford site, I believe. Oh, don't quote me on that. The Bedford Business Park. There you go. See, I got it. This 500-acre site. This is going to be a huge transformative theme park for this area. That's not to be understated right there. We're going to be talking about franchises featuring Paddington Bear, Lord of the Rings, James Bond, a lot of the British franchises, of course, and of course it's going to have a big Harry Potter presence. Not only that, it's going to have a unique presence for all those franchises. So if they have been featured in parks in the past, like for example Harry Potter, it will be unique, whatever is featured here at this destination, than it is anywhere else. And that's to keep British tourism, keep them coming to Florida if they can maintain it, and have something unique on both coasts there. Give people a reason to travel, which is interesting. I think people want that from another company as well, but I get distracted. Wizard, how are we doing?
Well, real quick, we're ready.
Please.
With my 6-year-old, we are already planning our European trip for a year to 2 years out from now. So yeah, this is something like it won't be there yet, but people are looking to travel to other places other than just the United States and looking to get out. And it's actually cheaper from everything I've looked at. It's cheaper for me. Like, my son can't make that trip to Paris just yet, but it's cheaper for me to go to Paris, Disney, than it is to go to Walt Disney World.
Bob, you've actually been to Disneyland Paris, which, by the way, is the #1 tourist destination in all of Europe, which is very interesting. How did you like your time at Disneyland Paris, and would you recommend it to others?
So I actually enjoyed it, although I will tell you it's an adventure going from the UK over to Paris. So when I was there, I was there for the Star Wars celebration last year, and we had planned on going to other things like Warner Brothers has the studio lot for Harry Potter, and that's really popular. That was shut down. So I was like, okay, what else we can do? And obviously we wanted to do Disneyland Paris. You do have to take the Eurostar over to there, or you fly. So those are your two choices. I will tell you that it was an adventure because we left early in the morning, and you still have to like go through customs. We missed it by one. Technically, we didn't miss it at all, but we missed our gate by 1 minute, they said, and they wouldn't let us go through even to customs. And so we missed our train, and it delayed us almost 3 hours to get to the park, which is a pain. But taking the train over was easy, fairly easy getting to Paris. Once you get to Paris, you got to take a couple different little, metro trains to get to the Disneyland Paris, unless you take a taxi or something like that. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it was an adventure to do, but it would have been great if I could just stayed in London and gone to a theme park, but they don't really have a huge theme park like Universal is building. And I think it's you're gonna have a reason to like, oh, I want to stay longer in the UK and I want to go to Paris. And I stayed actually on property in Paris at one of the hotels, and because the Disneyland Hotel was actually shut down, but they have other ones on property, so I stayed on one. It was nice. It was like 1.5 miles away. I actually walked all the way from the park to the hotel the first night I was there, and it was kind of nice walking through the countryside and whatnot. So I would recommend it, and I think it's really cool. You definitely need to check it out because it's unique, it's different. Their castle is different. They have a dragon under the castle. Their haunted mansion is different. Everything is kind of unique and different there. At the same token, I think that it would be great if you had more places to visit that are close by like that. And I think that Universal building this park is going to be amazing, and it's going to give people a reason to stay in the UK or, in Europe a little bit longer.
Yeah, I am very hopeful that the UK park, if finally approved, which has been in the works from Universal for a long time, longer than people might realize, for like 25 plus years or something like that. Hopefully it gets approved. Hopefully it gets built in the way that Universal is envisioning, and hopefully it is that transformative type experience that Europe has been really starved for. Disney tried it with Disneyland Paris. Didn't quite work out the way I think they envisioned. Should have probably done it in Spain, but to do it in Great Britain, now that actually changes the game quite considerably. Wizard, do we have you?
Oh, hopefully you do. Hopefully.
Oh,
wow, that sounds a lot
better.
This is promising.
Hey, I like this.
We got him.
Yes.
We did it, guys.
Yeah.
We did it.
Some magic, some wizard magic, and look at that. We got it.
Oh, there we go. Oh, you know what? We need the there we go.
Boom, boom.
A little bit of magic right there. So, okay. So you were saying trains, very good. That's awesome. London, direct access. That's a game changer right there. What do you think about the franchises? What do you think about their plans?
Oh, yes, but yeah. So the trains, yes, from London, but I mean, there's that train from London to Paris too. That's why I said it could potentially take some of Disneyland Paris's attendance there.
Oh,
But
that's a fair point.
franchises. Well, let's look at the site. The site, it's all outlined in red. This site can fit up to 2 theme parks. This is with a city walk in the middle there, and a Halloween Horror Nights experience like they were building in Vegas. That's a whole bunch of stuff, plus a couple of hotels. The franchises, so far, all exclusive stuff. No clones rumored, and no Harry Potter rumored, which is pretty cool. They'll have a whole bunch of new stuff, maybe James Bond included. This could be a really unique park. The whole no clones thing is because a lot of Orlando gets a lot of international or UK tourism. So if you have a clone,
Crazy
then
amounts
it
of
just
UK tourism.
discourages them to go to Universal Orlando. So you got to put some unique stuff in there so they can still go to Orlando and go to the UK park. I think it's a good plan, and hey, it should be starting construction in about 1.5 years. So it'll be pretty cool.
Theme Park Wars. This is awesome. This is great. I love to see the investment. And they're spending, from what we understand, a lot of money on this whole exercise right here. We heard, I believe, on one of the earnings calls talking about how New Ventures had bought some land for additional theme park infrastructure, let's say, for theme park projects removed from Orlando and Epic Universe. This is definitely one of those very exciting, very cool, but bringing it back home a little bit here. We have a couple of updates on the home front when it comes to this stuff. Right here, we just got this today.
Yeah, I know. Bro.
We're beginning technical rehearsals on our largest daytime parade to date, Universal Mega Movie Parade on July 3rd. It combines new floats, nearly 100 performers, including dancers, skaters, stilt walkers, poi performers, I don't even know what that is, and special effects. Are you ready? And has the famous tire marks from the DeLorean from Back to the Future after it goes back in time. Guys, are we excited? What are our thoughts on this?
I'm going to be there in November, and I'm hoping it's going to still be in effect.
What day?
Over Thanksgiving into December 3rd
the last
or something.
day is November 14th for this parade.
So I'm gonna miss it.
Oh man!
My name is Marty. Right, I've gone by McFly my whole life, and my license plate on my California car is literally out of time.
Out of time.
I sat there. I had to buy that for a lot of money.
I want to bring it up here. Have you seen the Back to the Future segment in the new Cinesational nighttime spectacular or activation over there at Universal Studios? It looks absolutely unreal. It is super cool. I love how they're leaning into the Back to the Future stuff with stuff like this as well. We know the Back to the Future is supposed to take center stage in this parade. Go ahead.
Over here, I wish they would lean more in. I know Wizard has spoke on this. I wish that like Simpsons and stuff. Like, look, we have to do something with Simpsons, right? Like, we lose the IP in 5 years or whatever. Like, Wizard can speak on that better than I can. And the hillside is questionable. I'd love to see a lean in to, if you're not going to do monsters, I'd love to see a lean in back to the IP that everybody loves. It's timeless. It's E.T. and it's Back to the Future. It's timeless. It has no limits.
Casual, what do you think about a retro land for someplace like Epic Universe, where they bring some of these franchises back, or maybe an attraction that celebrates these, but is perhaps maybe like a black box attraction that is modular that can switch some of the stuff out? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think well, honestly, anything that's well done is going to be well received. And if you can get the nostalgia mixed in there, you're going to have people that are emotionally connected to it. So it to me, that's really what it comes down to. And I was actually thinking about it today. Why are certain things hits and misses in the parks? And it's not just, the big, e-ticket things. You look at something like the Adventureland Treehouse. I was making fun of that thing constantly. And then when I saw it, I was like, whoever did this understands what needed to happen here.
Agreed.
And those are the kind of things. So if you could say, yes, let's lean into Back to the Future, but if you don't get the right people that understand the franchise, that understand the stories, understand what people love about the stories, it's going to fall flat. And that's the key, is you've got to get the right people working on the right projects. And
you could, you like, as you say, you could run the risk of destroying an IP the way Disney destroyed Genie. The idea of Genie, and like you get the wrong person to come in and do Back to the Future, and you're absolutely right. And you could look, somebody could look at that. My son right now at 6 years old loves Back to the Future, but he looks at Genie, the Genie, as an enemy. And it's horrible. Like I want him to watch Aladdin and love the Genie, but he sees the Genie as an enemy. And you're right, that's what could happen. You get the wrong person coming in to re-energize a franchise that's been gone for decades, you do run the risk of ruining the IP.
I mean, even looking at Knott's with the Camp Snoopy thing, you know, some of it looks nice and, you know, whatever. But when I look at what they did with Fiesta Village, how did the Alebrijes garden just capture everybody? Everybody, they're just statues. That is all they are. Yep. But for whatever reason, people are now connected to them. It resonated with the public to the point to where now they had the pins, they've got the plush. Yeah. And, you know, you've got people like me that are saying, we need an Alebrijes dark ride. You know, I want to see these characters, you know, in more places now. And that's something, to me, it's like whoever does these things, they have to understand what they're doing, what the assignment is, and then capitalize on it. And I think there's just too many people that are, you know, hey, they did, you know, they're good at drawing this, or they're good at, you know, engineering these things. And they get released into these projects and they fall flat because they don't have that touch.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you guys are reminding me of a recently opened theme park attraction that has been very problematic for a multitude of reasons. But one that didn't quite make the mark in terms of realizing that IP and presenting it in a theme park environment. I think a lot of people, when they thought Princess and the Frog attraction, it's like, okay, we're going to be getting all this great stuff and this iconography from the movie, especially the villains and their amazing songs, and it's going to be the movie come to life. And then it's like, well, it's going to be a next chapter story. From there, it starts to go a little bit south. And we obviously know the quality of execution, for various reasons, on various levels, just hasn't been up to snuff. And I think, Casual, I think you're right. It's not so much the IP used. It's really about that quality of execution. It's really about who is in charge of these projects and bringing them to life, because we've seen even talented people kind of go astray if you start from maybe a faulty premise, or you're not necessarily given the budget that you're maybe had to bring these things to life in a better way, or something else. Wizard, what are you taking all this?
Well, I want to actually go back quickly to Marty's question about bringing Back to the Future over to the West Coast. I must say, you might be very excited for next year for Universal Studios Hollywood's Fan Fest Nights, be a little after hours event coming to the park. And one of the things that was, at least due to surveys that were handed out, was a ride overlay. So, you know, maybe like something like a ride overlay. Wow. So like The Simpsons, they could really just play Back to the Future for that night or that event because it's the same vehicles and stuff. So that's the idea they're having about these ride overlays. So for Fan Fest nights, you could say they could be playing Back to the Future. You can ride Back to the Future just in the Simpsons vehicles, potentially for that after hours event. So you might want to go to that next year. Nothing confirmed. That's just like rumors and stuff. So stay tuned for that 2025 in Hollywood. But yeah, you know, you gotta respect the IP, and if you don't, at least try to improve it. Like with Tiana's, you know, whereas Dr. Felicia, I know there's a lot of people on Twitter saying we don't need them, but I think we need them. Still looks like cool. I wish it would have fixed its problems, but you know, Disney's not doing the greatest lately in terms of their IP. Like they're getting rid of it, like with the Frontierland Shooting Arcade for the DVC Lounge. I like to getting rid of that stuff. I don't know why, but very unfortunate.
Well, and that's why for me, I'm excited to see. You know, I know we're calling this theme park wars, but you know, the competition. You know, Universal's listened to everyone. They're coming out with some really great things. I think that Epic Universe has really kind of made a surge in getting people excited about this new theme park that they're building and some of the things they're doing as well, whether it's, you know, the, you know, Halloween Horror Nights over in Vegas, or, you know, the new parks they're going to be building in you know, the UK. And I think because of this, it's going to help with, imagination, fun, unique, stuff for the IPs. But overall, yes, is it going to take some competition away from, Disney? May take some away from SeaWorld, maybe. But the thing is that it's going to give people a great opportunity to go to other places and other parks. And to me, as a consumer, I'm looking forward to this because I think it's going to be something that we're all going to be able to enjoy and partake in. And I think it's really going to help us out with, going to new places with some great rides and IPs. I mean, the stuff that they're coming out with Epic Universe is just amazing. And every time I turn around, every single announcement they have, I'm just like, well, that was pretty good. Oh, that was even better. Oh, I like this. Wow. That's, it's just, especially with the Universal monsters, that whole dark universe thing was just amazing. And I loved everything they had to show. I even showed my daughter and she's like, oh, can we go to that? And I'm like, yep, we're going, definitely don't know when, but we're going to go. And so it's just really cool seeing that it's not just me, but, younger generations that are excited about this.
Well, it's awesome because I am literally planning my November trip, and Universal just keeps adding stuff. And Disney keeps taking it away. So there's a lot of things so I may not see this parade, but in general, because I'm so far out, but in general, there's more and more stuff being taken away. It's like, oh, Test Track's gone. Random stuff. And I mean, that's Disney World, Walt Disney World. Don't even get me started on how much we are losing in August at Disneyland. We're losing so many attractions and so many rides and entertainment and travel. It's crazy. And it's like, I'm like, it's August. The kids aren't even in school yet. So down here.
Yeah, but you got to remember though, we did Disneyland's the seasonal crowds have shifted. Halloween and Christmas are now busier than summer. And that's what's crazy. Summer now is winter.
They are, but I mean, D23 is also coming as well.
But yeah,
which tells you what they think of the super fans.
I was just about
so I mean, but honestly, August 5th, we're gonna lose the Disneyland Railroad. We're gonna lose Space Mountain. The monorail we lose on the 12th, just after that. But the monorail actually doesn't even commute anybody to D23. So I know there's oh well, at least we can get to D23. It's like, no, you have to walk from the convention center or the Honda Center, go into Disneyland, walk to Tomorrowland, hop on a monorail just to be dropped off inside the security gates still.
Yeah,
100 feet away from your hotel. There's nothing there. But we're gonna lose. All of Pooh Corner, Splash is Tiana. Hungry Bear
is still down.
Canoes, Haunted Mansion, Moments with Lincoln, Animation Academy, and DCA.
David Crockett's Explored in Canoes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes,
it's wild. Disneyland Railroad for me.
It's a lot of stuff, dude. And Disneyland Railroad, I don't know. We can sit there and I think that has to do with whatever they're doing in New Orleans Square. We know that they're ripping out the fountain and stuff like that, but whatever. I mean, it's the first week of August. You're still in summertime for families traveling. I don't get it. I don't get the amount of closures at one time.
So many closures. It's unfathomable. And yeah, it's when D23 is in effect. You have people coming in from all over the world to attend D23 in person, and yet they're not going to be able to experience so many attractions, including, come on, Space Mountain as well, and to replace some lights and some flooring. Come on, this is ridiculous.
Push it back a week or two. That's all you have to do.
Look, like Casual said, there's a formula that TDA or Team Disney Anaheim uses to establish, okay, can we take the loss of inventory when it comes to capacity, right? Can we justify this loss? We know that some annual pass holders are still blocked out during that August time. We know that it's a soft summer, which is why they reduced the price the way they did via those ticket offers that they released this summer. That's kind of the price elasticity that we've talked about before. We know that there's a lot of stuff going into necessarily that decision. I got it. Also, too, we have to understand as well, there are rumors that they might announce the redo of a land that has been in the works for a long time for Disneyland specifically. And obviously, if they announce that at D23, August 9th, 11th, 12th, or I'm sorry, 9th, 10th, 11th, well, obviously, they're going to want to get the jump on that after the busy winter season. So the only way to really allow for the loss of the inventory is to get your attractions refurbed early on the before that winter season takes place. So that could be a possibility too. I'm just saying though, it's like, why have you deferred maintenance on these attractions to the point where we have now these months where we take down 6 or 8 attractions at the same time?
But Dre, you're missing the point. We were told that even though Magic Keys are going to be blocked out, we were told this, like, the experience was for Colorado. so why are we doing this during Colorado's time?
I mean, that's a fair point.
That family's going to be mad.
That's just it.
Well,
if the families don't complain, then it's just going to become, common that this is what
standard.
They do. Yeah,
right.
And that's the thing. It's like anybody who goes to Disney, if you get your survey and you didn't like something, let them know. If you don't like something while you're at the park, let them know.
That survey is important.
Yeah, they do.
Stuff right
as much as we think, it just goes into the void, when you complain. No, they take it seriously. They are watching data like hawks. You have no idea how much they watch that stuff.
I want to play this little montage right here from an episode of That Park Place, going over the list of stuff that we've lost over the last 5 years because of, not taking surveys and not taking this thing seriously. Here we go. Can we get the audio here? I think we can. The rising prices. Well, anyway, look, I have a list right here via Disney Tips Guy on Twitter. Disney did all this, at least within the last 5 years. Canceled free Magic Bands, canceled Magical Express, started charging for Fast Splash, Genie Plus, now Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass, jacked hotel prices, cut portion sizes, raised food prices, upped ticket and AP prices, cut park hours, charged crazy rates for after-hour events, reduced staffing, cut shows and experiences, reduced maintenance budgets, and reduced promised construction projects all in the last 5 years. And now, an additional level of complexity for your trouble. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yes. Yeah, my bad. Oh, looks like a couple people have to dip out because their lunch has ended.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who do we got here? Let's see. Okay, yeah. We all need to go. That is completely fine. No problem. Bob, do you have to go? Do you want to go ahead and tell people where they can find you, good sir?
Yeah, definitely. I hate to go, but thank you so much for having me on. Always a pleasure being here. You guys can find me at BarryPlace28 on YouTube, X, Twitter. Well, I guess that's the same. TikTok, Facebook. So come follow me there. Also, just want to announce this and ask you guys to check it out. But in addition to my BarryPlace28, I also have a channel that I'm with Theme Park Casual on called Park Streamers Hangout. We had our 1 year anniversary yesterday. Thank you for sharing that. So if you guys wouldn't mind going over there, we are going to start doing our first live show on July 15th, which is just a little less than 2 weeks away. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But Danny and Cordy and I take the time to talk about theme park news and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. And if you like the content, subscribe. Right now, we just have one short up. Like I said, our first show is coming up on July 15th under the new channel. And with that, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bob. Every single week, I'm thankful for you to come on and to share your time with us. Thank you so much, good sir. Casual, you might have to go as well, I think. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you, good sir?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, X, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. And like Barry Place said, we just launched our brand new podcast channel last night. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out and subscribe, you can catch some of our content on our different channels for Park Streamers Hangout to see what it's like. But we're going to be moving to condense it all into one channel now.
Nice.
That's awesome,
I
guys.
love the idea. I love you guys coming together. I love the Park Streamers Hangout, and thank you so much for inviting me.
The shows
Like I
are
said,
so
it was a
good.
whole bunch of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
See you guys
Thank
later.
you so much.
All right.
Enjoy.
See you, Marty. See you, Wizard.
Bye-bye. Oh,
Man.
now,
All right.
Lost,
I have
lost two
some thoughts.
great panelists there, right there.
Oh, I know.
Good,
I know. That's
dude.
why
Right.
I wanted to front load it. I wanted to have as much regional and West Coast theme park
Yeah.
stuff as possible for those guys because they are such a good, just wellspring of insight. But hey, you know what? Between us, we're pretty good.
Hey, we can hold it up. Yeah,
We can hold our own.
We do all right.
Wizard
We do good.
Now, I have a thing here on my, I don't know if you can share my screen, Dr. Dre, here.
Oh,
because
okay,
there's- I
okay,
saw
okay, here we go.
recently on Twitter. This is from good old Park Journey. He has a Universal Studios Hollywood pass. It looks like a rarity in the theme park world. They're decreasing his monthly price. Looks like here for his gold pass, which is pretty cool. So I just want to give a little shout out to Universal. He's giving them a little discount on his pass effective today. His new price goes to $24.91. I don't know what it was before, but it says it's a decrease. So good job, Universal.
Man, hey,
That's
tell you
crazy.
what. Was that who was that on there? That was Park Journey.
Park
Yeah. Park
Journey,
Journey does some great stuff on Twitter right there. Little discount. When was the last time you heard Marty of Disney giving you back a little bit of what you may be owed? You haven't even gotten your email for your your
Yo,
lawsuit.
dude, I still have not gotten my email back to get my Dream Key settlement. Like, I'm still waiting on that.
really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
He
And
was-
they,
he
like,
was part of
oh
the class
man,
action.
they are sending me through all the ringers. Like, I have to deal with like the lawyers who are actually dealing with it versus the people who are actually paying it out or distributing the money, and nobody's talking to each other. Last email I got was, you don't have to do anything and you'll receive a check. And yeah, I don't even like at this point. It's not even worth it for the $60.
Then, they just said you'll receive a check, right? But they didn't say when. It could be maybe it'll take as long as Tron took to open, right? So maybe you'll receive
Oh
it.
no,
Dude.
you're gonna be waiting a long time if that's the case. Universal UK will be open by the time he gets that $65, and then it'll be killed by interest.
And I'm just trying to spend it in their park too. So like,
That's a good point. You're trying to give it back to him.
yeah.
Oh man. Oh, this is.
I told
this
my
is
wife,
terrible.
I was like, hey, we'll go to the Blue Bayou. You know,
I know.
Have a dinner. or
Now,
whatever,
now you can go to the Three Broomsticks.
Yeah, we're actually thinking of like, hey, Wizard, real quick, are they doing anything at Universal for 4th of July?
Oh yeah, they usually
Anything
have a couple
special?
they usually have a couple DJs out, and they have a special fireworks show at 9 p.m.
Okay.
They usually have like DJs and a
We
lot of
were,
meat.
we were looking for something to do, so we were thinking about, since no reservations, we may head out that way.
You should pop
Very
on
nice.
in. It's great. It gets very crowded, but there's 2 fireworks viewing locations. There's actually 3 of them: Water World, the upper lot, and the lower lot. So you'll be able to
Okay.
if you
Okay.
just hang out on the Starway, you can see them too. So you'll be able to see them.
Sounds good.
I wanted to bring this up right here because I wanted to get your guys' input, especially from this article right here that Pro actually brought up on his show right here, and I thought it was so good. Let's do it a little bit again right here. It's this is going to be from Forbes, from Caroline Reed, who's always on top of everything when it comes to Disney, especially theme parks. It's no surprise Disney's stock price crashed below $100. Here's why. I haven't checked on the stock price recently. Let's go ahead and check on that right now. Ooh.
I'm just looking at it right now, man, because it's in my portfolio. We are looking at 97.90.
Not good. Okay. I thought everything was going to be fine as soon as Nelson Peltz was
We're
out.
under the 100th anniversary. When we started the 100th anniversary, we hit 100, and I was like, oh, that's funny. We finally got up to 100, and then with the pelts thing, we got up to 120. Now we're back down under 100.
Well, and Caroline has some words for us. She says, Disney stock should be on a roll right now. Last month, the company signed a deal with the local government in Orlando, paving the way for it to build a fifth theme park, if it wants to, at Walt Disney World as part of the $60 billion investment plan. Instead of having a magic touch in a share price, however, the stock price fell below $100 a share for the first time since February. There is a good reason for this. Theme parks are the engine behind Disney's profits. I have said this once, I've said it twice, I'm going to say it 3 times again. This is the thing powering the entire company. The theme park division, just by itself, contributes 70% of the overall profit of the entire Walt Disney Company, and Walt Disney World itself contributes a third of the overall profit or operating income for the entire company. Theme parks are the engines behind Disney's profits. Its 6 resorts are grouped together under the Experience Division, which account for most of its $12.9 billion of operating income or profit last year. It was far from a flash in the pan as Disney's latest results show that over the last 3 months to the end of March this year, Experience has generated $2.3 billion of operating income, which was almost 3 times more than the amount they made by either of its other divisions, sports and entertainment. The Experience success stands in stark contrast to the Disney Plus streaming platform, which has burned up more than $11 billion of operating losses since its 2019 launch, and it isn't forecasted to make a profit until the end of the year. In an attempt to capitalize on the success of its theme parks, Disney announced in September 2023 that it would invest $60 billion in its Experience division over the next decade. It was widely reported that this would be all directed at theme parks, but close reading of its filings reveals that the parks will only get half of that total, while a difference spent on Disney's cruise line as well as maintenance and other technology upgrades. I say this, I'm going to bring this up, I'm going to bring it up again. Marty, Wizard, you know where I'm going with this. In 2021, Disney spent $30 billion that year, not over 10 or 5 years, that year, on its studio division. And then in 2022, it did it again, $33 billion towards its studio division. Guys, why oh why are we spending $60 billion over 10 years at all of the parks when we should be spending a whole lot more, like we did on the studios? Guys, what do you think about this?
Wait, Dre, I thought you told me that Anaheim, like, it was guaranteed they were going to spend like a whole lot of money.
Yeah,
and there was no there was no buyout like on that. You told me. Wait. Oh no, you did tell me that there was a buyout. Okay. All right, So you were telling me the truth. There was an out clause, and they weren't planning to spend the money they said they were going to spend.
That is very true. They said that they were
that part. That Park Place actually. People don't like to hear it sometimes, but they brought the truth. They brought the recipe. And they showed it to you.
Not the horn here of ours, but well, we were correct in that whole assessment right there. That is for sure. Because look, I was telling people at the time, Disneyland Forward, they were committing to spending, I think, $1.9 to $2.5 billion in the first 10 years, and the only way that they could get out of spending 2.5 is if they took like a $5 million impairment fee. And it was like, okay, yeah, they're totally going to do that. And from what I'm hearing from my contacts, it's like, oh, they aren't spending at all. And we're close to 2.5 on the improvements to Disneyland Forward. In fact, they don't even have a solid plan right now. That's what I've been hearing. Wizard, what is going on? Why can't we get more investment in the parks? Why do things have to be cut the way they are? Why is it that Universal has to come in with the 100+ cast member performed parade, and Disney doesn't even have a nighttime parade or much nighttime entertainment in any other parks to speak of?
I'm not sure. In the old days, the parks fueled even the movies, right? Look, they made a successful movie franchise out of pirates.
Oh, yes.
right?
Mhm.
Sort of fantastic ride. Tried a couple times with Haunted Mansion, and they're going to try these other attractions and maybe a sea show. That's at least what they should go towards. The parks can fuel new franchises instead of making, now they'll be stuck to making sequels because Inside Out did very well. I saw the movie, I liked it, but how many are going to get to Inside Out 10 or but you need some new original stuff eventually, and you can look to the parks for new stuff, but also the parks, no matter what's happening there in the movies, the parks will be more consistent. So if you have a bad movie year, like last year, Universal had more ticket sales than Disney in terms of the movies. If Disney's invested in their parks, then they would have been totally fine last year. But not every year is going to be a good movie year. But if you consistently invest in your parks, your theme parks, new expansions, renovations, then you'll have a pretty healthy balance there to kind of offset some of these other losses that can be fluctuating, like movie ticket sales and ESPN and all the other crap.
Yes, well, and you mentioned crap. We'll get to that in just a moment right here. Operating income, you can see right here, this is the Q2F fiscal year 24 figures right here. You can see the operating segment or segment operating profit. That's $3.8 billion. That's all the profit that the Walt Disney Company made. They made a little bit off entertainment and sports, massively on experiences. This was even worse, by the way, the last quarter before this. The parks are the drivers for this whole thing, but yet we're going to spend it on studio stuff. And not even that great of studio stuff either. This report comes out of World of Reels. Let me see if I can go ahead and find it, because I just, I want you guys to take in the full wellspring of the bad decisions being made at the executive levels.
I'll just interject while you do this, Dre. If you cannot make a profit off of sports, you're idiotic. I mean, the Celtics just announced that they're selling their franchise, after winning a championship, they bought it a decade and a half ago for $300 million, and they're going to sell it for $6 billion. If you can't make I don't understand. If you can't, and the NFL's now being sued for Sunday Ticket. But if you can't find a way to make a profit off of sports, it's the easiest thing in the world. Like every gambling company is finding a way to do it.
Well, ESPN Bet is still in the works. We'll have to see how much that actually contributes to this whole enterprise, but you are exactly right. I mean, sports should be doing gangbusters business, and yet it contributes so little when you compare it to the parks, of course.
Yeah.
Look at this right here. We're not going to spend on... Marty, we're not going to spend on sports. We're not going to spend on parks. We're going to spend on Captain America Brave New World. It apparently has a budget of $350 million to $375 million.
Well, that makes sense. That makes total sense to me.
Right? Okay. So this is from Jordan Rumi. Let me go ahead and set up everybody in the chat right here, and I'm going to throw it to you because I think you know why this is this way. Last year, after receiving negative test scores and Marvel being underwhelmed by an early cut of the film, Julius Ona's Captain America Brave New World was delayed to February 2025. Extensive reshoots were also called, with 3 major action sequences being filmed from May to August 2024. Brave New World had originally wrapped filming in June of 2023. Whoa! And was set for a July 2024 release date, but it's now turned into a monstrous mess for Marvel. You just don't push a movie this big out of your calendar and then decide to dump it in February unless major trouble is brewing. Goes on to say that they've filmed additional sequences, and now the budgets have ballooned because of those things. They've recalled actors, and obviously there's an extra cost to that. Marty, what's your take on all this?
It's the whole scenario. Everything is weird. Like, we have major motion pictures being pushed to Disney Plus, and we have Disney Plus things like Moana 2 being pushed into theatrical release. And the production is so messed up. And then just today, we found out like Wicked decided they went Wicked. and they moved their theatrical release a week before Moana 2, which is supposed to just be a Disney Plus series that they stitched together to become a movie. And people were like, oh, well, yeah, they wanted to move. They didn't want to compete with Moana 2. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, they want Moana 2's money, but they want the week before money's too, because Wicked looks good. And like, I've seen it, and so it's like the play, and it's gonna make its money, and they want to eat and then have leftovers the second week. And to me, that's kind of like, I don't understand where they're going, like with the Captain America thing. It's with how they're releasing things and how they're switching, like their production or the way they distribute it. It to me doesn't make a lot of sense.
Look, just
unless it's flawed, super flawed.
Well, I have no doubt. I have little doubt that it is, only because of the amount of money being spent on this. Look, this is an Anthony Mackie-led film. This isn't even starring Chris Evans. Now, we know Harrison Ford's part of the cast and some of the others, right, but I just want the check to take this all in here just for a second. Brave New World is 350 to 375. That's what's being reported right here. Captain America Civil War, starring Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and basically all the Avengers outside of Thor and Hulk, essentially at that time. That movie had a reported budget of $250 million. Okay,
you can't get past 375, bro. You off a secondary clip, not Elemental. What's out right now? The Inside Out 2. I just watched it. I watched it on opening day. It was so lucky to get past its budget. I think its budget was 250 with probably 100 marketing.
Yep.
And so it needed all of this in order to do this. To get past that. And man, it's a fun film. If you like Pixar, it brings you back to the kind of the fun days of Pixar. I recommend it. Mm-hmm. But man, you can't rely on these budgets of 250 now. Not now. Like maybe 4 years ago you could. You can't do it. Like Minions is like it's set to hit like Despicable Me 4. Like we're going tomorrow to see that. We already have our tickets. It's set to hit like 100+ million, but its budget's like 80.
Yeah, so it's making its money back. What on like
first weekend? It's making its money back,
yeah.
And the last one hit $1 billion.
Well, if you didn't like the budget for Brave New World and Wizard, I wanted to take on this as well. It looks like Snow White is back in production again.
We're doing this again, huh?
I think it's the third time now that they've reshot this movie.
Budget of $500 million there.
We still got all the same actors, or are we going to look at different people?
We'll get into that in just a moment. That Mark plays Gal Gadot appears to confirm rumors of new Snow White reshoots after film was reportedly, quote, testing poorly and a, quote, mess. This is from John F. Trent, which always is doing fantastic work over there. Actress Gal Gadot, who was slated to play the evil queen in Disney's upcoming live-action remake of Snow White, appeared to confirm rumors that the film is doing even more reshoots. Gal Gadot posted on her Instagram story a photo of an actor's chair labeled Evil Queen. Gadot also captioned the post, "Feels good to be back." That's not something that you should necessarily be saying about a production that was supposed to wrap and a film that was supposed to be coming out like this year I think last month was the original
Like,
release date.
That's what you post like after there was a COVID break, like with Mission Impossible, when Tom Cruise was like, "Hey, we're back in shooting again," you know.
Go ahead, Wizard.
I said, or you post out like if it's like the sequel, like man, good to be back.
Right, yes.
Number 2.
Well, they might have a sequel's worth of film here. This is the joke going around
There
Hollywood
should be a good blooper reel for that one.
No, yeah. Oh, the outtakes are going to be extraordinary. You're going to have another disc just to house all of the deleted scenes from this. Look, I have I had worries about these films initially when they were reported to be, I don't know, 150, $200 million budgets. But now, if we're doing production, which is essentially what this is. This isn't post-production. This isn't reshoots. This is essentially just restarting production again on Snow White. And you're talking about spending $375 million on Captain America, or again without the all-star cast of the previous iterations. I get worried because to bring this all back around to theme parks, these have a detrimental effect on the monetary output of the company, right? For every flop that we get is another Tiana attraction that could have been better had it not been because, the parks are shoring up the studio division. For every single, Indiana Jones that just fails at the box office, it's an attraction that we may have lost at the parks. Guys, what is going on here? I mean, the ineptitude.
If I can put
Please.
something in slight perspective, is you look at something like Little Mermaid, right? The new one. I mean, it made $700 million, and it lost money because of the budget. And we're coming out of a COVID area where there were productions that stopped, but we're not really in that now. Like, these new movies didn't stop production for COVID, and they didn't have those expended budgets and things. And so you look at a movie also like, so if you compare Little Mermaid to another movie, say like Fast and the Furious, Fast X, right? Fast X, I think, made somewhere around 800 million. But but it's or 750, 700, something like that.
Like 752 or something like that.
Yeah, but its budget was like 350 million, right? It was crazy. But
I understand why, because they had everybody in it.
Yeah, they had everybody in it, and it was during COVID, so they had to shut it down. They had to bring everybody back to like Brazil or wherever the heck they were shooting it. But also, you got to remember, The Little Mermaid isn't setting up another film. Fast X is setting up at least one and maybe two more. So, like, even if they had to like stall the numbers and just take it as a win or as a zero or we lost 5% or whatever. It's to set up the next one that we hope people will now go to see in the theaters, and it won't have the COVID stuff behind it. I mean, it was always set up to be Fast 11. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing with that series.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing with Despicable Me. Like, my kid doesn't care about the number behind Despicable Me. We're going to see 4 tomorrow. We'll see 5 on Thursday if they come out with it. We'll see 6 on Friday if they come out with it. It's the brand, and they kept the brand alive.
Go ahead, Wizard.
Oh no, I said I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Make, as long as it's a good brand and keep it alive and keep it fresh. Like this Despicable Me is funny as heck. I already have my tickets for tomorrow for Feeling Okay, and
my man,
I'm going to see it eventually. But We love it. In fact, the wizardess, my fiance, she actually never seen a Despicable Me movie, and when we first started dating a year ago, where they're staying at this hotel for the weekend, and she said, "What do you want to watch?" I'm like, "Let's watch Despicable Me," and because she's never seen it, and let me tell you, we're 20. She's 28 at the time. Okay, not a kid, but she ended up binging. We binged all of them. All the Minions and Despicable Ones up until the current one. So she loved it. Because especially because they're nice, short, and sweet. They're all about an hour and a half. So it's quick, easy little binges. They're very entertaining. It's a great franchise.
Well, and here's the thing. It's like a $6 billion franchise in terms of box office total. And merchandise and everything else. It's huge. Go ahead, Marty.
Dre, if I could speak just like
please.
like as a father of a 6-year-old.
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you, they didn't reinvent the wheel. Slapstick is funny as heck, and it's been funny since like the Three Stooges, and it's still funny to kids now. And so I went and I watched Garfield, which was horrible. Yeah, I did not enjoy that movie. It was bad. But I got all these movies, Inside Out, and so and all these trailers are in there. The trailer that's always in there right now is for Despicable Me 4. The kids laugh, dude. They like banana farts. It's funny to them. It's something that they want to see. It's something hey, I'll be honest. It's something my son wants to smell when we're in the Despicable Me ride. He can't wait for the banana gun to go, and everything. I mean, so it's funny. It's funny to them. It's something they like. It's something they like. It's not for the parents. It's not necessarily for the parents, but they do a good job of putting the over the head jokes that the parents can get, so they enjoy that, and they can
Shrek. That's another one that does a very good job.
Right? Yeah, Shrek. Shrek's the goat of that. They made so much fun of Disney. Like
that was a Jeffrey Katzenberg influence for sure. I mean, look, I have no doubt Despicable Me 4 is going to be a big time killer at the box office. And here's the thing, even if it doesn't necessarily achieve the heights that Inside Out 2 did, remember Inside Out 2 that's like 3 times the budget there.
Yeah,
so again,
they're talking 100. They're like the early estimates I just saw was 100 million plus opening weekend. So it doesn't have to do that because it has half the budget.
It's such a good point. And if it follows this trajectory,
let's say it's making money. Obviously, not just the movies, but it's bringing ticket sales into the theme parks with the multiple rides and attractions they have, and of course the merchandise in those theme parks as well. Making money.
I don't see a lot of. I don't see a lot of people buying. I've been to the parks a few times in the last couple of weeks, and I don't see a lot of people buying anxiety plushies. And my kid loves plushies, dude. And in fact, we're going to Universal probably on the 4th just to see Woody Woodpecker, and he doesn't even know anything about Woody Woodpecker, but he loves Woody Woodpecker. And now, but he's not. He wasn't asking for an anxiety plush, and I think it's funny. The only meet and greet they brought out was anger.
I know, but I didn't even get it.
Well, Louis Black right there. What do you say? Very, very successful character right there. Let's wind down the show a little bit because Mr. H is in full swing right here, and I want to make sure that we get people over there and that we do him justice because he has been so gracious to let me redirect towards him. So there you go. But we have a couple of super chats that I want to go ahead and refer to right now. Sick Lid with $10. Thank you so much. By the way, everybody's generous today. It's unbelievable because, man, I mean, when I started this channel, I was like, well, I was hoping
Nah.
you know, to get 10 simultaneous viewers, to get 10 times that amount right now is just.
Well, guess what? You're gonna get 1,000 simultaneous viewers.
Oh,
Bro,
wow.
people love watching you talk. We want to hear your thoughts.
Well, thank you so much,
In
Marty.
fact, I think you should run for president.
Oh, that's
Go
an
ahead,
idea.
Put a one in the chat, guys, if you want to see that. That's for sure right there. By the way, we are very, very close to 2,000 subs. If you can hit that subscriber button on your way out, that I would very much appreciate it, because man, we are
I'm
like
just gonna make
40 or 60 away or something.
And then, okay, I'll make 60 accounts right now, and we'll get there in about a second.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Wizard. Always a great supporter for everything we do. Sick Live with $10. Disney's America secretly bought Civil War battlegrounds in Virginia. Thank God they were stopped. Yeah, I know. Very controversial project. That is absolutely for sure. No question about that. There's a couple of, I think Defunctland actually has Disney's America on a special on that, a video on that. That is absolutely worth checking out. I think he got with somebody else. Somebody got like a bunch of voices from a lot of the Disney documentarians at the time to contribute to Disney's America, and it was awesome. So that is very cool. Is This Live with $5 Canadian? Thank you so much. Big supporter of all of our channels. Thank you again. Let us not forget that Walt is the antithesis of what Disney stands for, according to the PR person. Well, then we got to play that. We have to play that video right there. Let me see if I have it in the branding here. Oh, I don't. Okay, so this is going to be that Park Place for just a second, because we got to get this video here.
And Dreamer's Point is the antithesis of the idea that Walt had this incredible optimism and hope for the future, that if we all work together and we all dream together, we could build the impossible and make it our reality.
I love that. I love that video. I love it so much. Back to T3PO. Thank you so much, Is This Live, for bringing that up, because man, oh man, that is a funny moment for sure. Also, too, let's see here. Is This Live with another $2 Canadian? Thank you. Again, this is going to go towards the syrup fund. So, Is This Live with the Canadian $2? You know, if you want to mail over a little bit of syrup for my for Lamplight Lounge, I would be very much appreciated for that as well. As Vash has his salty Fields moment.
Sally Fields. Like
Sally Fields moment. Sorry, I can't read it quite. The teleprompter's great, but contrast is a bit of an issue. As Vash has a Sally Fields moment, yes. Thank you. They really love me. Okay. Rover Boy with $2. Thank you so much. Great job, Vash and panel. Memberships win. I know we're gonna get memberships. That is absolutely gonna happen. I just gotta talk with Jonas on how he wants to coordinate that, how he wants to do that. But it is absolutely gonna happen. That is no question. Hey, 2,000 subs, that definitely greases the wheel on that thing. So make sure you hit the subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Marty, Wizard, you guys are awesome. Where can they find you? Let's start with you, Marty.
I mean, just like, I'm only on like X or Twitter or whatever, and it's Marty084.
Marty084.
Yeah, if you like sports or Disney or theme park content, I'm not breaking any news. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, no, I actually like your account, Marty. I think you bring up some really great points. You're definitely worth a follow. If you've been following this channel and the output that we've been putting out recently, I think we have 2 or 3 Marty videos now, at least featuring.
Hey, there's one on that Park Place that everybody should check out. That's really, really funny, and that's when I found the Universal Studios.
Oh yeah, Cars.
Yeah, Fast and Furious Cars tag that got sold there, and I think you and Jonas did a very good, funny job on that one.
Well, did you see the Mel's Diner thing that happened recently?
Yeah,
the Pizza Planet doll there. Let me see if I can find it with the little time we have remaining. It was hilarious because it was like, wow, you just can't help but reference them. Here we go, right there. Mel's Drive-In. Disney mistakenly puts the Universal Studios picture on doll packaging. So it's supposed to be Pizza Planet, and it's Mel Snyder. What is going on? What? Oh man, they just can't help themselves. They love Universal that much.
I loved when I tried to buy the luggage bag that the system shut down. I don't know if there's a CM that shut it down because I was filming it, but the whole thing was just like, oh no, we're shutting down and you can't buy it anymore.
I know. Man, what a great collector's item. Wizard, where can everybody find the Universal Man?
You can find me on my Twitter account. You can find me on YouTube, Theme Park Wizard, and you can find me on my Patreon, Theme Park Wizard Club 722, and you can find me on Instagram, Theme Park Wizard, and TikTok, Theme Park Wizard, for some cool breaking news.
Theme Park Wizard's Patreon is so good.
It's fire.
It's so
fire.
good,
dude. The updates that come
so much stuff, dude.
I'm not going to understate this, guys. Half the information that we have on Universal and at actually Disneyland Resort comes directly from Wizard. He's that good, and I mean he
on Mansion Virtual Queue. I was they reported because of me a month before.
I told my mom told me usually, oh, look, they're going to do a virtual queue for Haunted Mansion. It's like, well, if you've been following that park place, you already know that that's where they were going.
Oh, dude, I sit there. I literally tell my son stuff, and he's like, oh, we're getting Diagon Alley. And he's 6, like I said, he's 6 years old. He's like, oh, remember when Wizard or Ethan said we're getting Diagon Alley? I can't wait for that. And so like, in like 3 years, it may, is stuff is going to be built, but this dude, he's on top of it. He has the idea. He's hearing the rumors.
I'm telling you, he's the guy to follow. So Theme Park Wizard's social media information will be in the description of this video if you're watching it on the replay. Theme Park Wizard, you can find him all over the place. Definitely subscribe to all of his social medias. That goes the same for Marty. Goes the same with Theme Park Casual, Marvin, the movie monster, and Bob, Airplace 28, who joined us all on the panel right now. So thank you so much to every single one of you. You're what makes this show as good as it can be. And thank you so much for joining us for a show that, it wouldn't be possible without you. So I think that's the music right there telling us we got to go. So thank you so much, guys.
Was this the Oscars?
we have our outros as well. Thank you so much. We will see you all later.